Hello everyone, welcome to the class. In this class, we are going to focus on some phrases, some words and phrases for the essay. Okay, so today we'll focus on vocabulary for essays. In vocabulary, there will be phrases, transition words, okay, that we would be able to use for a good essay. So let's get started. So all of these phrases would help you write a good essay. Okay, connecting words and set phrases. Okay, putting your reasons in order. Now, when you have different reasons, then you need to put them in an order. Okay, so you have to use a technique. Okay, we call it framing technique, where you would use the words like firstly, secondly, okay, thirdly, or finally. Okay, so when you have different reasons, you can use these words. Okay, so these will help you. So these will help you to put your reasons in an order. Okay, so who would like to read the next? Expressing an opinion. Yes, Sajra, go on. Read.
Expressing an opinion. I hold the view, in my view, it is probably true to say that there can be no doubt that sir enough
Okay, continue reading.
mentioning what other people think. It has been suggested that there are those who believe that there are those who argue that opponents, supporters of example hunting argue that most people hold firmly to the belief that it is often claimed that
Okay, so these help us here. These one help us express our opinion. Okay, so when you have to show your opinion, you can use any of these phrases. I hold the view that, in my view. Okay, it's probably true to say that. Okay, there can be no doubt that all of these phrases are good phrases to show your opinion. Okay, so here mentioning what other people think when you want to express somebody else's opinion. Okay, so then these phrases you can use. It has been suggested that, okay, there are those who believe that, there are those who argue that. Okay, so these are very good phrases that you can keep in mind. You can even cram them. Okay, so sometimes it's not all about creativity. Sometimes there are things that you need to remember, you need to learn by heart. Okay, so opponents of hunting argue that, okay, supporters of hunting argue that. Here you can give any other thing also. So, for example, if opponents of video games argue that, or supporters of video games argue that, okay, so anything you can give here. So, in brackets, this is just an example. Most people hold firmly to the belief that, okay, if you want to express somebody's opinion, these phrases are very good phrases to use. Okay, it is often claimed that, okay, so let's look at some more phrases. Who would like to read? Magnesa, would you like to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read common opinions in society.
Common opinion in society. It is widely believed thought that few people would contest that nobody would dispute the fact that it is generally agreed that referring referring to evidence and facts. Research suggests that all the evidence suggests that recent evidence indicates that changing direction, however, nevertheless.
Okay, so these are very good phrases again. So common opinions in society. It is widely believed, thought that. Now here you have to then give what is believed, what is thought, what people give. Here dots that you see, it means that you would put that thought here. So for example, it is widely believed that screen timing weakens the eyesight. Okay. So another phrase, few people would contest that, okay, and then tell us what they would contest, what they would, argue about. Nobody would dispute the fact that, okay. So here you have to give something. For example, nobody would dispute the fact that in olden times people were more healthier. People were healthier, okay. So something you have to give here. It is generally agreed that Now here it is generally agreed that fast food is bad for health. For example, okay, it is generally agreed that, and give here something. Okay, so referring to evidence and facts, if you have any data, if you have seen something in papers, in research papers, or you have seen anything in documentaries or in newspapers, so you have some evidence and some facts, so you can use phrases like research suggests that, okay, or all the evidence suggests that, recent evidence indicates that. Now many times students haven't read anything in newspapers or something, but to make their arguments strong in essay, they just themselves write phrases like this: research suggests that, okay, and then they write something, okay. For example, research suggests that fast food causes obesity. Okay, or all the evidence suggests that those who eat fast food become the patients of diabetes. Okay, recent evidence indicates that people who do not eat vegetables die sooner. For example, now if you have anything, any argument like this, any statement like this, but if you put it in this way, then your statement becomes strong, okay, it becomes powerful. Now when you are changing direction, when you are going to discuss something different, okay, something that is controversial or something not what you believe, okay, or what others believe, then you can use however, nevertheless, when you want to change your opinion. Okay, we would look at an essay, an example, and then we would see how we can use all of these. Now giving examples, okay, so giving examples you can use for example, for instance, such as, okay, and when you want to conclude, you can say in conclusion, overall, or to sum up, to conclude. Okay, so there are many other phrases also. So these are just samples, some examples that you can keep in mind for your own essays. Okay, so now let's look at an essay and see how these are used. Okay, now these are there is an exercise, okay, of filling in the blanks, okay, fill in the gaps, and these phrases we have to use there. Okay, it would take a lot of time, So we are going to just read that essay, okay, and see how these phrases have been used. Magnisa, would you like to read? Hajra, you read first. Read the first paragraph, Hajra, only
Yes,
first
sir.
paragraph. Yes.
Nobody would dispute that the fact that many programs on television include violent scenes, especially action and horror movies. I hold the view that they should not be allowed. However, many people disagree with this opinion. In this essay, I will discuss both sides and give reasons for my opinion.
Okay, so you see here the phrases are in bold. So first phrase, nobody would dispute the fact that. Okay, and then however, here we are changing the direction. Okay, and here we are expressing our own opinion. I hold the view that. Now, this is a sample, okay? It's written by any student, but here something that I would like to focus on is this thing, okay? So I don't recommend students to write in this way, okay? So we should never write something, clearly that in this essay I will discuss both sides and give reasons for my opinion. Now it's redundancy, it is useless. Okay, so you don't have to write phrases with I. Okay, mostly are clearly you would not say what you are going to do in this essay. It would be obvious when somebody would read it. Okay, do you understand this? Okay, so do you understand that you shouldn't write something like this? Okay, if we cut this, our essay would be better. Okay, everything would be obvious when we would read this. That both sides, we are going to discuss. But if you have to put something, then put something in different way. Okay, so maybe you can write. Let's look at the both sides. Okay, this essay focuses on both sides, but even it is very obvious. It would be clear to the reader when they would read. Okay, so maybe if you have to put any phrase like this, then maybe you can say, "Let's look at both sides." Okay, here read the second paragraph.
Firstly, research suggests that people who watch violent programs and play violent computer games may worry more about their own safety, which can lead to programs in society. For instance, when people are worried about their safety, they are more likely to react aggressively towards strangers. Secondly, few people would consent that some children copy what they see on television and in computer games. Hence, if they are watching and interacting with violence on a daily basis, it is likely that they will copy this type of behavior. Finally, there are more beneficial activities that children would be participating in, such as playing a sport or reading a book.
Okay, good. So let me first correct your pronunciation. This word is aggressively. Okay, aggressively. Okay, very good. Now in this paragraph we have a number of very good phrases. Okay, so if you would use such phrases in your own essays, the worth of your essay, you would get a lot of score. Okay, so for example, here now you have different opinions to share. Okay, so we are using technique of framing. So here you see firstly, then we are expressing a reason, and secondly another reason we are expressing. Okay. Now this is another reason. Okay, and when we are expressing example, we are using such as. Okay, so here we are showing the result. Okay, or here we are sharing what is the possibility what can happen. Okay, and some people might argue about. Okay, so here we are using this phrase. Okay, so here we are again talking about the tendency, behavior of the people, what they would, how they would react. Okay, and this phrase is again for showing example. Okay, and here as we learned that when you have evidence, okay, then you can use this phrase. Research suggests that. Okay, so let's read the other one. Okay, who would like to read? Magnesa, you please read. Yes.
Yes, sir. However, there are those who argue that violence is not something we learn from television and computer games. For example, nobody would contest the fact that there were murders before television and video games were invented. In addition, it is often claimed that children cannot watch violent programs and play inappropriate video games easily. For instance, there are restrictions for some programs and games, and many parents do not allow their children to watch television after a certain time. To conclude, although there are some reasonable arguments against higher restrictions on violent video games and programmers for children, be there can be no doubt that the potential disadvantage of children copying what they see and hear see and hear in these programs and games far outweigh the advantage of having free access to them. Furthermore, current restrictions are ineffective and easy to ignore. Therefore, governments and local instructions should do more no promote alternative activities and to engage young people in their local communities from an early age.
Okay, very good. So today we have looked at a sample essay and we have learned that how we can express our ideas and how we can organize our ideas. Okay, so this is very important. You should learn these phrases by heart. Learn by heart meaning memorize. Okay, learn by heart meaning claim. So you should claim some of these phrases. Remember that with these phrases you can get a lot of marks. Okay. So for example, now let's look at these. Uh, Now when we are shifting to another opinion, okay, when we are changing direction, we are using the word contradictory word, which shows another opinion. However, okay, and then we are talking about the other people, okay, who do not agree with our ideas. Okay, so there are those who argue that violence is not something we learn from television and computer games. Okay, many people feel that television and computer games are good. Okay, so when you want to talk about those people, this is a very good phrase. For example, nobody would contest the fact that there were murders before television and video games were invented. Okay, so meaning definitely before television and video games there were murders. Okay, there were some house, some killings. Okay, so it's not because of the video games or televisions. Many people believe that. Okay, in addition, now here we are giving another reason. So this is a very good phrase to use in addition and then comma. It is often claimed that. Okay, so see, these are very beautiful, very good phrases. Okay, so you can use these phrases. And when there is the last paragraph, then you can use such phrases like to conclude. Okay, to conclude. Okay, and there can be no doubt that, and for example, when you want to suggest, give suggestions. Okay, so here, therefore, governments and local institutions should do more to promote alternative activities and to engage young people in their local communities from an early age. Now, one thing in this essay, it's a very good essay. Okay, it's a very good essay. But one thing that here at the starting, I told you that you should not use words like "I." If there is essay which is of formal type, is this one? Okay, it's about video games and television, so it's a formal type. So you should not include yourself clearly with the words like "I." Okay, so, or you should not write sentences like phrases like in this essay I will discuss. No, it's not a good thing. Okay, so if you would cut this, then it would be indirect essay. Okay, that's really good. If you cut these both phrases, then the worth of this essay would increase. Okay, so today we have discussed some phrases. I hope you liked it and you would use these in your own essays. Okay, so that's it for today. So what you have to do today, when I upload this video on YouTube, you have to watch it again and take a pen and your English register and note down all of these phrases. Okay, so you have to note down all of these phrases, and maybe you can note down this whole essay in your English copy, and then you can reread it. Okay, and by rereading it many times, you would get the idea, you would get more understanding that how ideas should be put on the paper in an organized form. Okay, otherwise, many times the students do not use these phrases, these words, and they don't have proper structure of putting ideas on the paper. Even they do not make paragraphs. Okay, so you can look at these paragraphs and see how information is given. Okay, any other questions if you have? No. Okay, that's it.
No,
And
thank
okay, that's it. Thank you very much for coming, and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah.